UDL, I think, is a way to think about teaching and learning from the planning stage and trying to think about all of the variability that exists. All of our students are individuals, even though they share some characteristics. They certainly have their own individual sort of preferences, challenges, hopes and fears, and all those kinds of things that they bring with them to the classroom. So I like UDL as a way to systematically think about and plan for that variation in the classroom. I like the idea of thinking strategically about how I'm presenting content, what I'm asking students to do, how I'm asking them to share what it is they understand, what it is they know, in ways that remove some barriers that might get in the way of them accessing the content or expressing their understanding. So I like it as a way to be strategic and systematic about how I plan for teaching and what I ask my students to do.
When I think of universal design and learning, I think of ways that we can go about identifying our goals for students and come up with more than one way to evaluate whether or not they've reached those goals.
Some students really prefer a textbook, and they really like that structure that comes with that. Other students like more of a mix of different types of materials. So typically when I assign a reading, there's the textbook reading, the more traditional approach, but I try to find other materials, whether they're good substantive blog posts, instructional kinds of videos, different types of resources, even sometimes simulations or interactives that cover the same content, but maybe in a different way. So oftentimes I'll make a suite of possibilities available to them from which they can choose. Sometimes if there's a specific reading I want to make sure that everyone reads, then I require that piece, but then I provide options for, enhancement kinds of readings.
Literature doesn't necessarily have to be evaluated as a standard research paper. It could be a very different kind of public presentation. Research should be public anyway. And so that I'm really thinking that I might be able to offer students an alternative way of demonstrating mastery of content and mastery of research rather than the traditional research paper.
Teaching is a constant journey. There's always things we can learn, and I'm excited to work with faculty members from different disciplines and different perspectives to kind of learn from them. But I hope what they take away is just an understanding of different strategies that they can use that aren't necessarily going to be more difficult or make things more challenging or more time intensive for them to prepare or to do, but that will challenge them to think creatively about how they present the content or the kind of work they ask their students to do. So I hope it just gets the creative juices flowing and people come away with really concrete ideas that they can take back to their teaching.
The most exciting thing really is working with really smart colleagues across disciplines. I've worked with the University Teaching Project in the past, and it's always been an outstanding experience. So that's what I'm thinking about.